The Adventures of Bob Hatson, The Casino Project. Chapter 5, The Flying Agent. From Serge Dumoulin, Hatson writing. From Odessa to El Paso, Texas, there is 285 miles to drive. This morning seems to be quiet. A beautiful blue sky. The sun is shining in the restaurant window where Bob sits at a table. Paperwork in hands while he orders breakfast, Bob writes a new way to gain something out of this war. And for concerned people, ask for a better understanding for the time and simply suggest more trucks and drivers on the road. Hatson's intricacies. Time. The opium of poverty, remember? Then more truck stops, fuel sales, merchandise, and positive for every fellow in the business. After breakfast, Bob's ready to drive towards El Paso. At noon, Bob is at El Paso. Bob goes to his client's dock receiving, a company that is very, very close to Dispatcher. Dispatcher knows many employees there, so does Bob. Bob can't stand the smell and the image of hypocrisy. Bob goes right to the company's dispatcher. Ernie is his name. And Ernie is the crawler type for a penny. He surely is in communication with Dispatcher in Montreal right now, presumes Bob. Hey, Ernie, ¿qué pasa? Surprised to see me today? Bob lifting up his hat. Hey, yo, Hatson, you're always on time. You're the best one we have for our transportation. And I knew you would be here on time, as usual, yeah. Hey, Ernie, do you think you could take a couple of days off to take care of my truck security while I'm gone to Montreal? Hey, yo, man, okay, I can do that for you. My whore will understand. Yo, was Mr. Dispatcher from Montreal on the line with you, Ernie? Hey, you, what do you think? No, man. Dispatcher told me he wouldn't call too much because it cost a lot of money from Canada. Are you sure, Ernie, you're not lying to me? How much money did this man offer you? Despite this, how long do you think this little circus will be going on around us, Ernie? You know, Ernie, I've been good with you and your transport company, and I didn't say too much on hours spent for you guys, working and working. So don't you think I've done enough, Ernie? We are not slaves, Ernie. Hey, yo, we're not, man. Therefore, why do you act against us, Ernie? And don't you know that my friend Ron is dead because of this dispatcher from Montreal? Oh, yeah, yo, I heard about this and I'm very sorry. Don't you know, Ernie, that the widow is terribly offended and she's crying like hell right now? Don't you have a little bit of respect for him after all this driver has done for you and this company? You prefer to accept a little bit of money by Dispatcher and think that nobody will get you? Why not me, Ernie? I can get rid of you, Ernie. And what about if I kill you, Ernie, just like Dispatcher has done to Ron? Regardless, I could be a little crueler, Ernie, says Bob with a little bad smirk. Bob's eyes are reflecting vengeance now. Why do you think we will let Dispatcher ruin the transport, including us relatively? Deliberately, why did Dispatcher tell me that my load back to Canada might be a week later? Are you involved in this, Ernie? I might kill you right now, man. I don't give a damn if I come back home bobtail, but I'll have a trophy over my CB antenna. And it's gonna be your frickin' scalp, buddy. Briefly, you'll call your friend in Canada and tell him that my rage is not over. Overall, I will take care of him personally. Now I'll go and see your boss and I'll have my load to drive back up north. Believe me, it's time to talk about all of this with your boss. In addition, I'm sure he has nothing to do with Dispatcher and probably he will question me about you and him. And you, sir, I think you will not work any longer as a dispatcher. This company is clean and does good business with ours in Canada. Then they don't want to lose any exportation contracts. They're going to clean up this place. And I will take care of up north cleaning off these monsters from this dreadful masquerade. At Mr. Paco's office, the boss. Hi, Mr. Paco. How are you today? Not too bad, Bob, and yourself? With his light Mexican accent. Not really good since my friend's dead. Well, I heard about this tragedy, Bob. I'm very sorry and wish my condolences to the widow and you, Bob, because you were very close friends, you and Ron. Yes, sir, we were. And now we have serious problems that I have to take care of, but I don't go further because you're not involved in this. All I want from you, Paco, is if Dispatcher from Montreal calls you, for any reason, please do not enter in his game. Today, your own dispatcher here is cooperating with Dispatcher in Montreal. That's no good, my friend, because you will have to answer questions about Ernie. And you don't want any problems with the law, Mr. Paco, don't you? Certainly not, Bob. Then you know what you have to do. You put this Ernie out of your company right away, sir, because you could be accused of murder complicity. What? Yes, sir. And I like you. Then you know what you have to do now. Okay, Bob, I'll do as you wish. Protect the enterprise. Yes, sir. I have your manifest, your bill of lading here, Bob, for your trip back to Canada. Thank you, sir. Bob reserves an airplane ticket from Albuquerque, New Mexico, not far from El Paso, to fly to Montreal. From El Paso, Bob warns Ernie to protect his truck from sabotage and say to Mr. Paco to wait before he discharges him. That way we will insert Ernie between Dispatcher and us to create a new avenue, sir, instruct Bob. Therefore, this way I think they will not touch my truck and we will use Ernie on our side. In return, may he join us. If not, he'll get prosecuted as accomplice. Mr. Paco, by the time I'll be gone to Montreal, Quebec, said Bob, my truck will be safe. I will talk to Ernie and explain to him the choice he has. Bob reaches the airport by a taxi cab to distract Chaser on the exact time he traveled. This way he will feel safe landing in Montreal. Bob wants a clear idea about what's going on between Dispatcher and his accomplices. He will contact mechanical engineer Peter Delaney if he detected something on Ron's truck mechanical inspection and get details about the secret alcohol bar inside Ron's truck, according to Dispatcher's presumption. Was it some bottles installed by Dispatcher's accomplices or not? Anyways, Bob will look at engineer's analysis and have answers. Investing time to prepare a visit in Montreal Casino, Bob calls two agents from R.C.M.P, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. This team was used to work on a case in Quebec years ago when Bob was an accident witness. And these agents did an excellent complete report on facts. Bob is quite confident with these two agents. Although this case might be a murder commitment, the agents accepted to collaborate and are proud to help Bob Hatson in this matter. With certain ferocity, Bob is playing big now, but everything to help my friend Kate, he thinks, and I'll discover the truth. Bob enters the airplane and asks not to be disturbed during the flight. Angelina, the hostess, answers, "You won't be disturbed, Mr. Hatson, and it's an honor for me to take care of you." "Thank you, lady," says Bob. "See you at the airport arrival. Tie up your seat belt, Mr. Hatson, please," she says. "Departure is in 5 minutes." "Have nice dreams." "I will dream about you, Angelina," Bob replies, with his kind of charming Irish accent. "I'll try to realize your dreams, Mr. Hatson," says Angelina. Bob composes a song in the airplane about Angelina, the hostess, before having a nap. He intends to give her a copy before leaving the airplane. The song, "The Solitary Flying Agent," Bob Hatson. Intro, flying with soft music. Unknown out of her flight, spending sometimes on the phone, she calls everywhere where there's a light for not standing alone. Flying all the time everywhere in the world, serving the food, the drink, and some words to whisper to clients who wishes a destination where to make some business or taking vacation. Chorus, the flying agent, the solitary flying agent. Always in a crowd but always alone in her mind, belonging to flowers where there's no time to smell to the nature, or being a woman for a moment, she's called the solitary flying agent. In Switzerland, she's got a beautiful room. In California, where men don't lose a moment to invite her to the best hotel and just to escape from this hell. Remembering the time when she started flying, according to her, a time for rewinding. But while she takes the time for a blind date, receiving the next flight, there's no time to wait for... Chorus, bridge from turbulence between two big clouds to the hotel where she lives and where the sound is loud. In a corridor she walks, in her dreams she flies, to the man with whom she talks. In her dream he's the pilot of her time. End of the song. Angelina, the flying agent, landing at Montreal Pierre-Elliott Trudeau Airport. Bob feels he's at home, but he would prefer to be on the road with his Peterbilt under the sun. From South States, but somebody's got to do the job. Let's get out of here. Where are the blue eyes, Angelina? Oh, there she is. Here's for you, babe. I wrote a song just for you and me. This is the original copy for you, and I kept the second copy. I will record this song and send it to you. Thanks again, Angelina, for this beautiful trip, and my dreams were wonderful. See you, Bob, and hopefully your dreams will be realized. I will wait that you hear this song, and I'll call you for dinner. If you accept, naturally. Bob seducing. Anything you want, Mr. Hatson. I prefer Bob. All right, Bob. Both in confidence, hot smile, and a wink. Chapter 6. Bob Hatson at Montreal Casino. Bob steps on criminal heels. Nothing will stop him. Feeling rested, Bob thinks about gangsters who sent his friend Ron to the eternal rest. This has to be punished for Kate and Ron's memory, swears Bob. To indict culprits, This will restore confidence between drivers on import-export transport, and nobody will be free to realize their ridiculous ambitions just to satisfy their ego or getting rich without working. Bob is convinced that everybody can work and realize his or her dreams without killing anybody. I will struggle to survive, swears Bob. Mr. Hatson at Montreal Airport, arrival, looking for a taxi cab, accepts an offer from one of them. Bob didn't see who the driver was. Seems to be sure of his ride. Get in the car and let's go, he says. Drive me to Montreal Casino, sir, please. Yes, sir, the driver answers. How are you, Mr. Hatson? How do you know my name? Driver answers. I'm elder, sir. I know you're older than me, but who are you? No, sir, my name is Elder, and I'm one of the agents from R.C.M.P. that you asked for. My boss and colleague asked me to watch the airport before your arrival and check passengers' identities by tickets on board. Then, that's why I'm here, sir. Oh, okay. We don't want you to get hurt, sir. And the prize you're running after are dangerous. If you don't mind, sir, after I drove you to the hotel suite we rented for you, I will drive you to our office to see a tape showing Mr. Cram and Dispatcher together. Cram? Who is he? We think they have big ambitions and they are able to do anything to attain their goals. Since a couple of weeks, we followed these bandits, and let me tell you that for money these people can do anything. We received complaints about them, and with the police we decided to work together on their resolution they estimate being realizable. We'd rather help them to discover their illusions are unreal. Therefore, we want you to work with us on security. These people are not on their first apprenticeship. Okay, Elder, I approve, thank you. Bob reaches downtown Marriott Hotel to shower and put convenient clothes for the casino. Elder watches around but insists at the main entrance. Elder is equipped with his firearm and intends to secure everyone around just in case intruders would like to interfere into Bob's security. Bob spends the afternoon relaxing at his hotel suite, doing phone calls. Finally, Bob calls Peter Delaney, the mechanic engineer. He answers that he saw the truck and inside there's no ultimate alcohol bar at all. Peter thinks he can prove that the alcohol bottles and panties have been planted after the accident by Dispatcher's accomplice. Because he says, we found a screwdriver and I have to send it to digital print station. I'm sure we will discover the print's owner. They have used this screwdriver to install a false fridge under the bed, but we can see that it was installed after the accident. Fresh screws were identified. Bob's very happy to hear positive answers. Bob calls Kate, Ron's wife, and tell her that he's on the case and not to worry about anything because he has evidence to defend Ron's actions. And it's not true Ron had affairs on the road. Kate enjoyed receiving good news and forget bad stories about Ron. Bob's ready to go to casino. Spend the whole night if necessary and try to meet Dispatcher and Mr. Cram right on action. Mr. Cram is enshrouded into mystery. Might he show his real criminal's face by his action players? Will he spend a lot of money? Bob calls to send Angelina flowers at the hotel to stay in contact with her. Besides, if he needs her to keep an eye on Mr. Cram's and Dispatcher's action, might they go to Equator? Bob calls a taxi cab from his cell to go to Montreal Casino. Eyeing Elder and his assistant in the hotel's hall, The two of them know where Bob's going. Elder follows a taxi cab and he parks at the casino. Watching Bob entering the casino, Elder is in contact with casino inside security, which keeps looking at video cameras where Cram and Dispatcher usually play. It was set up for nobody could escape from the proof that they were at the casino on that day. Cameras, two R.C.M.P, casino security, and Bob Hatson suspecting so many crimes from these two guys and accomplices are they? For the noble transport cause, Bob's doing all he can to find out Cram's and Dispatcher's ultimate objective. Another man is there. Security comes at Bob and shows the foreigner at the table, mentioning that this is the table where accomplices play regularly. Bob wears very distinguished clothes, a costume, and a disguise where Bob performs very well. Black mustachio, black glasses. He's put sponge balls in his mouth. In a black costume, he wears a black tie and a microphone from R.C.M.P to record conversation from gentlemen players. Elder takes care of the recording station in his car. Bob never leaves without his Colt, a stake in those cases. In his right shoe, a knife is available, a pair of special gloves, hide special agents' tools in case Bob was kidnapped. Several preserved secrets are hidden by his clothes and disguise to the enemy. Bob's tendencies go towards the end secret of criminals' intricacies, and this well beyond their capacities. Bob is at the poker table. No noise around. He just expects it's worth the time to wait for them. Wasted time? Not at all, thinks Bob. It's worth the degree of tension to follow those bandits in action, revealing maybe new evidence. We could charge these criminals with reasons and prove to the court mistakes Mr. Cram and Dispatcher will give us as evidence, remarks Bob. Heading inside, Elder signals Bob that Mr. Cram is entering in. Elder's partner, John, shows Bob that Dispatcher is also coming and says on microphone that he will be outside taking care of the recording station. All security cameras on design tables are following every move from criminals. Mr. Cram sits down at the table and asks Dispatcher to get some chips to play. Once at the counter, a camera's watcher announces to Bob's earphones that $10,000 have been exchanged to play. The foreigner exchanges words with Cram about the time they will play and meet me at the restaurant bar to finalize the program, he says. Cram nodded, though a wimpy lower lip is trembling. He's acting like nothing can stop him. Dispatcher comes back with the chips to play, walking like somebody aspiring to the jackpot and ruining casino. Bust the bank and let's be rich. Surprise! At the table arrives a beautiful 18-year-old Irish woman dancing over the sound of a violin played by an exciting young man to distract players. The girl is blonde-haired with blue eyes, thin body, on long muscled legs. She dances almost on toes. She creates a disturbing atmosphere between players across the room. With her long nails, a white scarf around her neck, she finger points at Dispatcher to charm the man. Unfortunately, Dispatcher is too occupied by his game. No consternation, Dispatcher pulls out $100 bill and asks the dancer to go and play somewhere else. With an aggressive intonation in his voice, people around disapprove. Negligent is your appreciation, one of them says. Evidently, Dispatcher is not here for entertainment. The girl leaves with a smile, thanking Dispatcher for the donation. Clever, this girl, Mr. Cram remarks. Good looking, using every part of her body to seduce, and her eyes are beautiful. Dispatcher, exclaimed Mr. Cram, you should learn lessons from this girl. How fast she figured out where the money was. Nobody knows about the girl, but she wasn't there for nothing. She's a part of evidence as a relative witness, so is the violin player. About the big tip received from Dispatcher showing a lot of suspect money. Bob's smiling at his table while Dispatcher is playing piano with his fingers on his thigh, trying to recapture his nerves. I have to go to washroom, he says to Mr. Cram. Don't escape, Dispatcher, says Cram. I will be here the whole night. I'll be back. Unfortunately, Kate is not here to see Dispatcher getting deeper and deeper in his criminal actions, thinks Bob. Elder follows Dispatcher to the washroom. While at the table, the foreigner explains to Mr. Cram that he's the landlord who sells lots in Equator. Mr. Dispatcher is interested to build up your casino, Mr. Cram heard. Yes, therefore, Mr. Cram adds, we have to talk each other before Dispatcher goes too far in his demands and actions. Mr. Cram already talks about necessary land's dimensions and look on the price per square feet. It's important to create a relative attraction to this project, he says. If each element is intelligently prepared, and so the cost, I will invest the most I can. However, I don't need to play poker to realize a profit to invest in this project. We couldn't say the same for Mr. Dispatcher. This is one of the reasons I'm here tonight. I want to see how far this man can go and act under money pressure. And still, is he able to be the project conception responsible man? Responsibility is involved. Will he gather the people he needs to realize this adventure? We talk here about the construction, and once done, the casino, shows, publicities, marketing, investments to maintain the business, ongoing and relatively manage expected profits. Is he the one, or should I do it myself? Or get another manager, employing somebody else? Well, Mr. Cram, we will look how he plays with cards, and by his intentions, face to success, we will see how he can manage necessary elements to succeed, completes the foreigner. Then, later on tonight, joining at the bar restaurant, discuss how much he can afford to realize this project. We will adjust considering the percentage he will invest, and you join for the rest. I'm pretty sure, Mr. Cram, you will be involved as much as more than 50% of the project. You will be practically the owner of the place, taking all decisions and being unhampered. Therefore, we're better going for the appropriate partnership strictly recommended by law's professionals. This is a unique project, and unconsciously, Mr. Dispatcher could make some mistakes voluntarily or not and ruin the adventure. Okay, Mr. Cram, my name is Jack, sir. Jack Crombie. See you later at the restaurant, Jack, concludes Mr. Cram. For now, we play poker with Mr. Dispatcher. He's coming back from washrooms. After a while, Mr. Cram says to Mr. Crombie, if these mistakes a dispatcher committed were allowed during the project, we're better say goodbye to the man tonight. The poker game's going on while Bob observes. He recognizes a dispatcher's accomplice, standing up at the entrance of the room. He says to Elder from his microphone to keep an eye on this guy. Elder walks to the accomplice and invites him to take the elevator. The guy doesn't approve, so Elder grabs his right arm and ensures that the accomplice must follow him. Once in the elevator, Elder unarms Dispatcher's friend and brings him back to the exit. John catches him and handcuffs the man. Poker game is still going on until Dispatcher bluffs and bluffs. Mr. Cram and Crombie surrender. After Dispatcher's game, Cram invites them to the bar restaurant to have a conversation about the main subject. Convinced by the two men of them, Dispatcher accepts, but suggests playing another poker game before. The two gentlemen refuse. Dispatcher seems to be helpless and confused by the answer. He says, "I have no choice, I guess." "True, Mr. Dispatcher," answers Crombie. It's time for negotiations, and right now, Bob waits a little bit and gets access to the restaurant by security video cameras. Bob sends the young dancer who danced for them earlier, but unrecognizable. Clothes, hair, lips color, and shoes. A beautiful, classy woman she becomes. With a microphone on her, she sits at the table beside negotiators. Bob and R.C.M.P. listen to the conversation and record from the car. "Now, Mr. Dispatcher," says Jack Crombie, "the future landowner, Mr. Cram, wants to know your offer to get this project operational. What's the money you want to invest to start?" "Well, all I can, but for now, $100,000 is all I can afford to start." "This is ridiculous, Mr. Dispatcher. And you want to manage the entire project? This will be all my money involved then, isn't it?" Mr. Cram evoking authority. "That's true, Mr. Cram. I know you are rich, very rich, and that's why I want you with me. It is 50-50 on the profits, and I will take care of everything. You won't have any time to lose working on the project because I'll do everything. Then I just have to pay, and that's it. The whole idea comes from me, Mr. Cram. Never forget that. I have people working with me on this. We can secure the project, if you see what I mean." Dispatcher insists. Dispatcher adds, "I'm the one who made you meet each other, gentlemen, so business is fundamentally from me, don't forget." Mr. Cram is thinking, on reflection. "We talk here about a lot of money invested." "Okay, Mr. Dispatcher, now we know your cards," says Mr. Cram. "I need time to contact my financiers and present this to major relations I have. Then I will make a decision soon." R.C.M.P. recording system was turning, listening to the whole project idea. Bob perceives and comprehends the relation between investors now. Who is the one demanding criminal actions on transport to get the money available for the famous project? Isn't it incredible how far these people can go to get the money to realize business? Interrogates Bob. Mr. Cram, Dispatcher, the landlord Crombie? With whom is Mr. Cram in relation? Who are they? What we don't hear here is the key. Where will the money come from to realize the adventure? A mystery hides the end secret of the intricacies employed between partners. Mr. Dispatcher takes all responsibilities, assuming that the people working for him will be those that will ensure the project realization. Therefore, each of them shows a possibility of criminal actions. It seems easy for Mr. Cram to have the biggest part of the project. He seems able to afford the money. Maybe he is the one using Dispatcher. Knowing that he's poor, he gives him backstreet jobs. Bob thinks he should follow Mr. Dispatcher 24 hours a day and put R.C.M.P on Mr. Cram's bank account and watch where the money comes from. At the same time, keeping an eye on Mr. Cram's actions and find unknown contacts he may have. And what about the landlord Crombie, who could be one of the major investors keeping secret where the money comes from? After all, he supposedly owns the Lance project. Bob talks to elders saying he needs a ride to his hotel suite. It's enough for tonight, and now we know these gentlemen and their reason to act. According to Dispatcher's mind, we must watch our wheels, figures Bob. John takes off handcuffs from Dispatcher's accomplice and send him back to his mad master. Elder and John drive Bob to the Marriott Hotel. Within the confines of his knowledge, Bob is compiling all data he can. The difference between each actor in this investigation is fundamentally discrete. Each of them wants his part of the cake. Threats, lies, sabotage are links between people. Honesty is out of his project. Wrong intrusion and transport by criminal qualified members kills the project quality by mistakes in the crime and weak spots in the chain. Desires in business are huge. Casino, land, and a lot of money involved. We have the killer's motive to ensure the project's success. They aim at money needs by attacking young drivers, making them work for cheap labor wages. Get rid of old drivers and make room for youngers, thinking it's the solution. Once established, driving import-export to bankruptcy and restart with cheaper labor, figures Bob. After many months or 1 year, it won't be profitable because these workers will burn out. Without mentors for new drivers, they will miss ability, aptitude. So goodbye, wealthy workers or middle class, and say hi to bourgeoisie. Salute to well-heeled business owner. Let's pluck those bureaucrats from exaggerated abundance, reflects Bob. But no, this is not a good idea. Let's play fair and immunize justice against those bandits. Questions? What relations? Who are they to Mr. Cram? Where are they? How much money for the project? Which bank? Why picking up some money in transport to put in casino? Whose interest? All these questions are relative to Ron's death. Bob has decided to elucidate the mystery. Indict criminals, and may they receive appropriate judgment. Somewhere evidence is. Search for whom is pulling the strings. The bandit's master. We need more enlightenment about Mr. Cram's contacts and more about Jack Crombie. Is there a mole inside transport drivers? Should we know more about and from Peter Delaney?